All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jana Adams, and I'm one of the training coordinators on the California Transition Assistance Program team here at Calvet. And I want to welcome all of you to this great event. This event is going to be with Bakersfield College students, College of Sequoia students, Modesto Junior College students, and San Joaquin Delta College students. So I want to welcome all of you guys here. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. I know this is going to be just a lot of information that you're going to be getting, but we are always available for questions afterwards and for emails afterwards. Throughout this presentation, you're going to be getting our contact information and different ways to get a hold of us multiple times. So we will have all of that for you. Just a couple quick things before we get started. A little bit of housekeeping items. We ask that you all keep your computers on mute, just so that way there will be no distractions for any of the presenters as well as any of the participants. We also ask that you keep your cameras turned off. That way, that helps with the bandwidth as we're going from slide to slide on the slide deck. So that way there aren't any interruptions happening. Agenda-wise, we've got a lot of great information to give you. Much of the information is going to be in our resource book, which is not in front of me, but that's something that we're going to go ahead and post in the chat. You guys will get a PDF file of that. That way you guys can have your own copy. It's also located on our website. I'm going to show you where to find it. And there's an 800 number right on the back of the resource book. And that 800 number is going to be a phone number that you guys can call us anytime with questions or to get more clarification on any of the information that you're getting today. When you call that 800 number, you are actually going to get a live person. You're going to get one of our local interagency network coordinators that are currently answering our phones right now, because we're not actually in our headquarters building right now. From that, the local interagency network coordinators or the links, they will either be able to get you that information or they will get you to somebody who can give you that information or refer you to someone else. So that way you'll have your question answered. Also, we are going to be recording this webinar, so that way if you know anyone that missed this or if you miss a portion of it, you'll be able to come back and watch it, and I'm going to show you where to find those webinars shortly. And then lastly, you guys are going to be getting a survey towards the end of this presentation. It's going to be an email link, much like you got the link from Eventbrite to get the Zoom information to log on. You'll be getting a SurveyMonkey email from there. And that's just going to ask you questions on how we can improve this process and how we can make it better for everybody. So at the end of this, we'll do a virtual question and answer panel. And there you'll be able to ask all your questions throughout the day. We ask that that throughout the process, throughout the webinar, if you guys have questions, to please speak up. These are just some quick Zoom instructions in case you don't know how to use the chat function. You just, it's either at the top of your screen, at the bottom of the screen where the Zoom control bar is. You'll just click over the chat link the chat icon. You'll ask your question to CalTAP questions, and then we will either be able to answer your question right away in the chat, or we'll wait till the end and the subject matter expert that knows the answer to the question will answer it for you at that point. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Jana. I'm one of the training coordinators here on the CalTAP team at Calvet. So what is CalTAP? The goal of CalTAP is to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned state and federal benefits. And then we also want to keep in contact with you and in touch with you throughout the whole process from start to finish. So the way we do that is by teaching information through 5 pathways. We have core curriculum, education, employment, entrepreneurship, and state and service providers. We're going to be going over the education pathway here very soon, and we'll give you lots of details. However, once this is the resource book I was telling you about earlier. You're going to receive the link to a PDF copy of that, as well as it's on our website. And how you find the resource book is you go to our website. So you can just Google Calvet, will probably be one of the first options that pops up. Once you pull up the website, calvet.ca.gov, you can click on the CalTAP banner. It's just under the laptop. And this is what you'll see. You're going to see all of our pathways right there that you can get information. And then if you scroll all the way down, you're going to see a link to that you can click on the resource book for you guys. And also, I had mentioned that we will be recording this webinar and putting it on our website. And we've been recording a lot of our specialized webinars and our webinars that talk about the different pathways and different information. And then we've been putting them on our website. So once you click on the CalTAP banner, you can click on the archives right there, and that will take you to any previously recorded webinars. Here's a list right here. It's kind of like what you'll see, although it's probably updated by now with different webinars on there. So go check them out, and also you would be able to watch this one as well. Okay, so how can you use CalTAP online? So you just go to the CalTAP website, and you can click on one of the pathways. We're going to click on the core curriculum pathway, and this is what you would see. You would see different links to all these different modules, and these modules are going to house all the information about the different topics of core curriculum. So you can click on one of these modules, and this is kind of what you'll see. You'll see links to maybe different pieces of information, whether that's going to different websites, different forms you fill out. This happens to be the benefits overview. So this is obviously in the resource book as well, but this tells you about the different plans that you can qualify for the college tuition fee waiver, something that we will definitely be going over a little bit later. So what are your California benefits? Well, on page 13 of the resource book, you're going to find one of our biggest benefits. You're going to find information of who our links are, or our local interagency network coordinators. They're going to be just a really great resource for you to start with. This is where you can find whichever county that you live in. You'll be able to know which link to get a hold of, and you should also be able to click on the link in the chat function soon. There will be a link map, and that'll show you which region you're in of which link that you would be associated with. So this is how the different modules can be set up online of what our different benefits are. So the college tuition fee waiver, we will definitely be going over this a little bit more later, but just know that this waives tuition fees at any state-funded schools. So this is going to be any UC, state school, or California community college, from your general education all the way up to your doctorate. And then all eligibility requirements can be found in either the resource book, we're going to be going over it later, or online. So there are programs that the DMV and with the DMV that veterans can utilize. You are able to get the veteran designation right on your driver's license. This is really great because this is going to help if you are out and about and don't have your 214 with you. You can still prove that you are a veteran. Lots of things you can do with that. One big thing is getting a discount somewhere, like at Lowe's or Home Depot or anywhere. Wherever you go, you should be asking if you get a veteran discount. So that would be a way to show it instead of having to carry your 214 with you. Veterans also can, you can also get an honoring veteran license plate. All the different insignias and different, the cost and everything is online if you would like to look into more information on that. And you can also qualify for the motor vehicle registration fee waiver. And all the requirements for that are online or in the resource book as well. So if you like outdoor activities, these are some really great resources. Disabled veterans may be eligible to receive the fishing and hunting licenses at a reduced an annual fee. And depending on what your disability rating is, you could be eligible for a state parks pass with at no cost at all. So that's really great. I do recommend checking the eligibility for this either online or in the resource book. So Calvet also offers a few tax programs. The first program is the property tax exemption. for the home of a disabled veteran or an unmarried spouse of a deceased disabled veteran. There's also the business license, tax, and fee exemption for honorably discharged veterans. And there's a disabled veteran business enterprise program for veterans who want to sell goods to the state of California. And more information on this can be found in either the resource book or online. So Calvet does offer a home loans program. It's a fantastic program. If anyone is even interested in buying a home in the future, maybe you're starting that process right now, I recommend that you contact Calvet and talk about their home loans program. It is different than the VA home loan. Now, you'll also find out when you talk to them, and you may be able to join the two programs together. But there is so much great information on this. It's a great resource. I know a lot of our employees have utilized this before that are veterans. So if you want more information on this or know anybody that wants information on this, please contact us directly so we can give you contact information to our person that does the home loans. He'd be more than happy to talk to you. So Calvet has a women veterans program, and this is going to be a program that provides information, advocacy, outreach, and support to women veterans and their families. And they also partner with the California Women's Veteran Leadership Council. And this is a council that goes statewide, and it's a way for women to get information about what's going on in county to county or any events happening, anything happening like that. So in order to get this information, what you can do is you can go right online and you can actually sign up for the women's roster. You just put in your contact information and you will get emails regularly. You can also contact them at this email address right here, and it's right on the website. So there is also a minority veterans program as well. They are going to provide information, advocacy, outreach, and support to California veteran or minority veterans and their families as well. This program is also going to provide help to unnaturalized veterans in California with citizenship and naturalization services. There's also a roster, much like the women's veteran, that you can sign up for as well. You just go right online to our website and you'll see that there. If you have more questions on where to sign up for either of those rosters, please don't hesitate to give us a call. So Calvet offers the long-term care. There are 8 veterans homes scattered all over California. As you can see, they're all listed right there. They're going to offer 6 levels of care, and it's going to range from independent living, memory care, assisted living, and also skilled nursing care. And all the information for all the homes, things like wait lists and how to apply for them, everything is online, and you can always call us for more information as well. Okay, so beyond the 9 national cemeteries that are in California, there are also 3 state cemeteries. They're located in Seaside on the coast, up north in Redding, and then in Yountville as well. And all the requirements and eligibility for these cemeteries are going to be listed either on the Calvet website or information will be in the resource book. So lastly, I just want to tell you guys about a few common websites. I'm sure you guys have all accessed these before. If not, I do advise that you go check them out and see what they have to offer. The first website is va.gov, and this website is going to let you access and manage a lot of your benefits in healthcare. As you can see, you can click on lots of different links and it'll take you right where you'd like to go. So the next website is going to be ebenefits.va.gov. And this website is the result of a collaboration between the VA and the Department of Defense. And you're going to be able to manage different aspects of your healthcare, different things like you can see prescription refills, checking on VA appointments, military personnel file, education benefits, pension benefits, things like that. So really, really great resource for you to check out. Lastly, this is My Health eVet, found at myhealth.va.gov. This is another great resource, another great website that you can manage your healthcare, pharmacy appointments, messages, health records, all really great stuff. I definitely advise going to look at that. So I know this was information overload. So again, if you have any questions, this is that 800 number I was telling you guys about. This is my email address. Our website is listed right there. Please contact us for any questions or if you'd like more clarification on any of the information we gave, of course. I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Annette. She is the local interagency network coordinator, and she's going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about what she does in the Central Valley.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name's Annette Walliver. I am the LINK. That's an awfully long title, so I prefer LINK. Actually, I'm a field agent for the state of California, representing CalVet with our veterans. Next slide, please. So I want to show you the LINK map. CalVet has divided the state of California into 8 regions, and they're color coordinated per region, and each one has a corresponding link. There are 8 of us throughout the state of California serving the veterans. I'm the one in the middle. I'm the purple, the Central Valley link, and I cover Stanislaus, Kern counties, representing about and serving 144,000 veterans. We work independently and closely together as links, but we also work with the federal, state, county, and local government agencies and veteran service organizations. Our mission is to get you connected to your benefits, and we want to provide you with all the information that you need about your education, employment, housing, and healthcare. Next slide, please. So we do provide outreach to service members, veterans, and their families, and we do this by outreach, which is the CalVet mission, but this is more like inReach, so that we work with collaboratives, veterans service committees, to make sure that we are aware of all the services available to veterans. And then we make referrals we locate the veterans in our communities, we assess their needs, we educate them on the benefits they're entitled to, services that are available, and then make referrals to those services. We assist with local emergencies. In fact, I just got cut orders today, if you will. There are wildfires throughout the state of California. We had a LAC, or a local assistance center, for the evacuees of the Creek Fire. Thursday, I will be going to Porterville in Tulare County to assist veterans with whether it's housing or shelter, food, if they had records destroyed, their homes. I know I'm assisting a veteran right now who, at the Creek Fire, their home and all their possessions were destroyed. And we were able to, by working with the agencies, the County Veteran Service Office, get a copy of her DD Form 214, have her fill out a form to get a certificate of eligibility, which came in a matter of a couple of days, so that she can go forward with getting a house. We also assist veterans if they have a CalVet home loan, if they need to get the paperwork started on that and get them going on that process. The other thing that Janet also talked about is that a lot of state and agencies are, their headquarters, they're telecommuting, they're not in their offices. So all the calls that normally go to the 1-800 number in headquarters of CalVet and a staff there are now being fielded out or forwarded out to us agents. And we're getting I get calls from all over the state of California every day. And it doesn't matter if it's from Klamath Falls or if it's from Los Angeles County. I am able, and we all are as links. We know the federal and state resources. We know our county resources. And if they need more intensive or diversified services, I will contact the link in their county to make sure that they get the information that they need and the resources that are available to them. And then we provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. I work very closely with all the counties, all the committees, the collaboratives, to ensure not only are veterans aware of our benefits, but they're also aware of any programs that are coming up, any events that are, I think, pertinent to their veteran community, and then also any updates or changes to benefits to veterans. Next slide, please. So my mission, which I take very personally, is to get veterans connected to their benefits. And I'm kind of the poster child for getting connected to your benefits. I served in the United States Army from 1975 to 1978. I got out, I used my GI Bill, got my degree, got my VA home loan, and then I thought, okay, that's it. But it wasn't until 11 or 12 years ago when I started working for the state of California that, first of all, I realized I was a veteran, and also that I could file for compensation. I now have a service-connected disability. I didn't know I could enroll in VA healthcare, which I am enrolled now. So the organizations on this sheet actually are the organizations that CalVet work with closely, and all the collaboratives as well, to ensure that we work together and augment each other in making sure veterans get their benefits. If you're looking for employment and training, the Employment Development Department has dedicated staff that assist only veterans. They are actually funded by a grant through DOL Vets. They can assist with resume writing, interview skills, matching you up with employers. They case manage veterans on a day in and day out basis and make sure that they're aware of any employment opportunities that are available to them. Also, veterans are entitled to preference points. For the state of California, you go to the top tier and are not fighting with civilians for the same jobs within any of the state organizations. The Employment Development Department vet reps are co-located with the America's Job Centers of California, the AJCCs. If you need to find one near you, you can go into careeronestop.org, and once you go in, you can actually drill down and find out if there is a vet rep in that office, and also what their email address is and their phone number. America's Job Centers of California, they have the tools that you can use. Their lobbies are currently closed. Call, make an appointment, but you can go in and use their computers, whether you're brushing up your resume, you're doing job searching, you can use their job board. And also you can file for unemployment, disability insurance, and paid family leave. And if you happen to be on unemployment, then the America's Job Centers can tell you about training that could be available to you at no cost that you could take advantage of while you're on unemployment. And they can assist you with any paperwork that you need done. When it comes to California state benefits, that's what CalVet is all about. We're different from federal, but we, as the County Veteran Service Office, administer a lot of the state and federal benefits. I call them the boots on the ground. They're the ones who really get the job done. Their lobbies are closed. Call, make an appointment. In many cases, anything that you need done can be done either through email or in a viral like this. And they can help you with whether it's college tuition fee waiver, claims, compensation, and pension. They can assist you with updates on your claims. Anything that normally state parks, whatever you need done, they can still assist you, and they're doing their normal things, but in an unusual way these days. Also, when it comes to healthcare, please don't neglect your healthcare during this time. The VA medical centers and clinics and vet centers are there for you. If you want to enroll in VA healthcare, you can either call them, call and ask to speak to eligibility. They can either enroll you over the phone, or you can actually do it online. They're only both of these, the clinics, the medical centers and vet centers are seeing only critical and urgent care individuals on a one-on face-to-face basis. But I know my appointments lately have been through telehealth and VA Connect, very effective. And I've been ordering my medications through My Healthy Vet. I click a couple of buttons to reorder. A few days, they're in my mailbox. So these are all benefits that I've taken advantage of, and I think that you need to take advantage of as well as you need. Next slide, please. So this is my contact information. If nothing else, you remember, just remember that there's my phone number, there's my email address. I have my phone with me. I will pick it up and answer any questions you have. If I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer for you. So thank you for your service, and thank you for letting me spend the afternoon with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Annette. That was really great information. And you guys, the links are such a great resource, so please utilize them. Along with them, there's also your CVSO, so you can always get whoever your CVSO is, we can help you find that as well. So Right now, I'm going to turn things over to Derek. He's one of our CalTAP training coordinators, and he's going to give you guys lots of great knowledge on educational benefits.
Thank you, Jana. Thanks for the information. Thanks, Annette, as well. Like Jana said, my name is Derek Rose. I'm a training coordinator for the CalTAP team. A little bit of background about myself. I'm a United States Navy veteran, served OIF, OEF, post 9/11 veteran. After my service, I came back to school at a community college and was able to pursue my degree. And then I eventually got hired on by Calvet and the CalTAP team. So just personally, I think it's really cool to be able to come back kind of full circle and speak with you all today. So I really thank you for your time and jumping on today's webinar for this information. So like Jana said, this portion is our educational benefits, best practices, and recommendations. It is one of our pathways through our CalTAP curriculum. And Jana, if you just want to go to the next slide. Thank you. So as you've seen a few times already today, this is our CalTAP website, and this is where you can find all of our pathways. For this portion of the presentation, we will focus on our education pathway, as you can see highlighted right there. So if you wanted to find out more and get started, you would just click on that. Next slide, please. And that will bring you to all of our learning modules. As you can see, there's 5 learning modules, from anything on how to select a school and get started, exactly what your educational benefits are, and just kind of some of the structure and some of the details regarding the application process, admission process to CSUs or UCs or community colleges as well. So if you're really starting from scratch in your educational journey, this is kind of where you can get started. We really wanted to make this a point of emphasis, not only for today's presentation, but for a majority of our presentations, because we find and studies find that going back to school and continuing your education is often the first stop for veterans in their transition process. So as just like myself, you know, I separated active duty and wasn't exactly sure what was next or, you know, what my next role would be, but I knew that I needed to continue making some money so that housing allowance didn't hurt. So a lot of veterans find themselves going back to school, maybe such as yourselves. So this is really an important part, and we're glad to present this for you today. So those are the learning modules. And Jenna, if you just wanted to click to the next slide. And we will just go ahead and discuss about what some of those education benefits are. So if you're a veteran and you're going to school right now, I probably don't have to tell you that you're eligible for the post 9/11 GI Bill or the GI Bill, but we can't have an educational veterans benefits webinar without discussing the GI Bill, right? So as it states, the GI Bill provides you 36 months of educational benefits, whether that's chapter 30, 33, which is post 9/11, which I would assume, if not everyone, most of you are eligible for post 9/11 benefits, and the Forever GI Bill. It's important to note that you may be eligible for a total of up to 48 months of combined benefits overall if you were to combine essentially 2 different types of veterans benefits programs, such as a program like VR&E, which is formerly known as Vocational Rehab and Veterans Readiness and Employment, formerly known as Voc Rehab. So we actually have a presenter from Voc Rehab who's going to give you a little bit more information about the VR&E program. So just stay tuned for that as well. So next slide, please. So the Forever GI Bill was enacted in 2013. And if you separated duty after January 1, 2013, you are eligible for the Forever GI Bill. We get a lot of questions saying, do I need to apply for the Forever GI Bill? The answer is no. It's not a declaration you make. It is just simply a matter of when you got out of service. So I'm just assuming that everybody is eligible for Forever GI Bills. but it's not set in stone. But what it is it ends that 15-year limit usage on your GI Bill. So previously you had 15 years to use your educational benefits. With Forever GI Bill, that limitation is gone. It also provides a full range of GI Bill benefits for Purple Heart recipients, no matter how long you served. And it can help restore used GI Bill benefits if you were to experience some type of school closure while enrolled. So for whatever the case may be, whether that institution had an accreditation issue or there were benefits that were used erroneously, I guess may be a proper word, but Forever GI Bill does help you restore those used benefits. Next slide. So to continue, it actually provides an increase of payment by $2,300 a year, even if you have less than 12 months of service. My understanding is no matter how long you serve, you get at least 50% of your GI Bill entitlement. I believe it used to be 40, but now it's a minimum 50%. And it expands education benefits for STEM degrees, science, technology, engineering, and math. So if you fall within one of those degree fields, you can apply for the STEM extension. And that's simply because most of the times, if you're taking those classes, your GI Bill is not going to cover the full length of your education to take those classes. So if you just wanted to continue, next slide. So the STEM extension, just like I mentioned, it provides up to 9 months of additional post 9/11 benefits up to a $30,000 max. There's a priority entitlement if you are 100% post 9/11. So if you served all your 4 years and you have that 100% eligibility, you actually get a priority entitlement or for the application process for the STEM. It can't be matched by the Yellow Ribbon program, and STEM is not transferable to your dependents. So keep that in mind. It's just for you and applies to undergraduate STEM programs. Next slide, please. So transferability of your GI Bill benefit, I would assume that if you're using your GI Bill currently, that you didn't transfer it away to your dependent, but we still get a lot of questions about that. So that eligibility is determined by Department of Defense, and it must have been done prior to you exiting the military or your branch of service. And if you know anybody who, friends or family who are going to do the same thing, we just recommend reaching out to their career counselor or personnel center at the base. Maybe you could pass that along to some of your friends and colleagues if they're in the same position as well. So just keep that in mind. Next slide, please. So this is a way to kind of get started applying for your educational benefits through VA. You can go to va.gov/education, and that'll bring you to their main education, training, and benefits page. So as you can see right here, it says highlighted eligibility. So if you could just click on that, next slide, and that'll bring you to a really user-friendly tool called the GI Bill comparison tool. And that's where you can input your specific eligibility for education benefits and search for schools and find out a little bit more information about that school. So for example, here, it shows that we're a veteran. The benefit we're applying for is post 9/11, and we're 100% eligible. So we get that full 36 months. So we want to find out if we go to school somewhere, what exactly is information on that school? Where can I find out more? So you maybe input the school down there at that search bar, and then you would click search. Next slide, please. And that'll bring you to the school of your choice or what you inputted. So for today's presentation, it looks like we have College at the Sequoias. So this is where you can find exactly what the tuition rate is and what you're eligible for. As you can see, 100% in-state tuition. And kind of the most important part, right, is how much BAH am I going to get if I go to that school? Because we know as it stands right now, BAH is based on your school's location, not necessarily where you live. So as we can see, College of the Sequoias, 1506 for your BAH, that's the 100% rate, and what to expect for your book stipend as well. So you can figure about $500 per semester, summer, fall. We'll give you about $1,000 book stipend as well. So if you were, looking to relocate and wanted to take classes somewhere else, somewhere throughout the state, definitely, keep this tool in mind to find out a little bit more about that institution. Next slide. So this is just a snapshot of kind of what to expect for cost of attendance. I kind of focus on the left-hand numbers. So for undergraduate programs, with tuition and fees, books and supplies, room and board, you could be looking around over $20,000 annually just for cost of attendance here in California. So just keep that in mind, that your educational benefits play a huge factor in that cost of attendance. So what we wanted to do for the rest of this portion is to kind of provide you some tips and tricks on how to best utilize your educational benefits. So if you go to the next slide, please. And great, as you can see right here, utilization of your benefits. So it does take at a minimum 120 credits to obtain your bachelor's degree. And it's important to know, and it's something that I kind of wish I paid more attention to, is that a lot of your prereqs or remedial kind of getting started classes don't necessarily count towards your graduation requirement. They may get certified in the VRC for GI Bill usage, but it doesn't 100% of the time mean that that's going towards your degree plan. So just keep that in mind. So just kind of a basic computation right here. So if you're enrolled full-time, which is 12 units over the fall and spring, and you want to go to summer school, which is 6 units for those condensed summer courses, which are a little bit harder in my opinion, your forever GI Bill is only going to bring you to 116 credits total. So what does that mean? More often than not, you are going to be coming out of pocket somehow for the remainder of your education. And that 116 credits is based on you having a perfect education plan. And like I said just previously, sometimes your prereqs and remedials don't always count. So just make sure that you're always taking those right classes and moving forward through your educational track. And that's what's great about your VRCs and on-campus resources and your advisors and counselors, is that they can make sure they're writing the right ed plan for you as well. Next slide, please. So we've kind of developed some tips and tricks to maximize your educational benefits. So our tip 1 is you can always take more than 12 units. So for example, if you took 15 units, you're still gonna obviously get paid the full-time BAH, right? You don't, you're not gonna make any more money for your BAH, but you're not gonna get charged any extra time or any extra entitlement if you take more than the full-time rate. So what that can lead to is potentially graduating at least 1 semester earlier for that example. 12 units is full-time and it can be difficult, but if you can manage and you do have that balance squared away with your school life, home life, work life, family life, it's something to consider, but don't feel pressured either to take more than 12 units, because at the end of the day, your mental health and the least stress possible is always recommended for educational purposes, but that is an option available to you as well. If you just want to be a hard charger and move forward, you can always take more than 12. So next slide. So the tip number 2 is kind of the opposite of that. It's you can only certify for 3/4 of the time. So if you certify to 3/4 of the time, that could possibly extend your entitlement eligibility from 36 to 45 months. simply because you're not certifying at the full-time rate, so you're not getting charged at the full-time rate. So BAH would only be paid at the 3/4 of the time, but you could find a supplemental program to help cover that remainder 1/4 of the time, or whether it's a 3 units or 4 units to bring you from 9 to 12. And using a program specifically like the California Promise could possibly cover that remainder 1/4 of the time as a financial aid program. So keep that in mind too. Next slide. Tip number 3 is we always encourage veterans at school to participate in work study. If you just want to click through, please, Jana, to the next slide. So work study pays a federal or state minimum wage to perform VA related duties. So for example, if you're a student on campus and you wanted to possibly work in your school's VRC, helping with certifying, or just working in there between semesters or outside of your normal class schedule, the VA work study is a really great way to supplement some income while you're in school. It's a really flexible program. It can help offset that cost of attendance, and because it's important to know, I think we all know that the BAH is not paid between your semesters or breaks. So keep that in mind, that basically the moral of the story is budgeting and having control over your finances is really a key factor for educational benefits as well. So next slide. So tip 4 is withdrawing from a course or getting a failing grade in the course. So we sometimes get this question a lot, and it's something that I thought of too when I first started school. They say, if I fail this class, do I have to repay my GI Bill or anything like that? Well, the answer is no for that. But so if you just withdraw from the class, it's not going to affect your GPA or graduation requirements, but it does impact your stipend or your BAH. So if you, let's say at the beginning of the semester, certified at full time, but for some whatever reason you needed to drop back down to 3/4 of the time, you would have to recertify at 3/4 of the rate because you would not want to receive an overpayment on your BAH or anything like that. So just be sure that you're certifying every semester for the appropriate amount of units you're taking. Pretty straightforward. If you get a failing grade in a class, it's not going to affect your BAH or your stipend, but obviously it's going to affect your GPA and prevent you from moving forward to your next class that you need for your graduation requirements. So just kind of keep those things in mind when you're making those decisions. Next slide. Tip 5, one of our favorite tips is always utilize that Veterans Resource Center. The VRCs are a great way for you to connect with fellow veterans on campus, kind of get the lay of the land of the school that you're going to. Just a really good way to continue that camaraderie that we all experienced in the military. I mean, it can be hard, when you're in your mid to late 20s, getting out of the military and then going back to school with people who are often a lot younger than you. They don't have those same experiences or shared experiences. So it's a good way to just get connected, plugged in to all the resources on campus. So yeah, just like I said, there's a nice little snapshot of kind of what they look like. I just recommend the VRC is your first stop on campus before you go anywhere. If you're a veteran, find your VRC, let them get you plugged in on campus. Next slide. Financial assistance programs, you can always apply for federal financial aid. There are state programs at the community college level, such as the California Promise, like I mentioned earlier, to help supplement any courses you're not certifying through your GI Bill usage. Scholarships, there's always some type of scholarship available. It's just, sometimes it just means that you may have to do a little bit of legwork on your own to find out exactly where they are, how much they cover, or what's required to apply for the scholarship. So just keep that in mind. And Yellow Ribbon Program. Real quickly, the Yellow Ribbon Program is designed for if you wanted to attend a private university here in California, or anywhere really, a private university where that cost of attendance is higher than what the GI Bill will cover in that state. The Yellow Ribbon program means that that school has entered into an agreement with the VA to share the cost of that remainder cost. So for example, if you wanted to go to USC or Stanford or anything after you, graduated from a community college or transfer, just make sure that that school participates in Yellow Ribbon and exactly how much their contribution is to Yellow Ribbon. Next slide. VR&E, Chapter 31. VR&E is, and we're gonna have somebody speak a little bit more specifically about this, but it's open to disabled veterans with a rating of 10% or higher, and it can provide education and job placement. And like I said, it's up to 48 months of benefits. It's important to know that VR&E is not an education program. It's an employment program, but it could be possible based on your eligibility and what your circumstances are to use it in conjunction with your educational benefits if it's deemed that you going to school is necessary for gainful employment. So I will defer to our subject matter expert to come on after this and speak a little bit more specifically, because I'm sure there's a little more likely than not some questions regarding that. So next slide. And the college and tuition fee waiver for veterans dependents. Jana mentioned this a little bit earlier, but like she said, it is one of our go-to benefits here in the state of California for veterans. It does only apply to the dependents of disabled veterans. So it's not directly for yourself as a disabled veteran, but if you separate active service and you get a rating of at least 0% from the VA, your children can go to any CSU, state school, or UC here in the state tuition free. There is no cap on the level of education. So if they wanted to use the college fee waiver all the way through their doctorate or PhD degree, as long as it's at a state school, they're eligible to do so. Those dependents, your children, must live here in the state of California. But the good news is you as the veteran do not have to live here in this state. We get that question a lot. Say, if I live on the East Coast, but my child is in California, are they still eligible? The question is yes. They just have to be a California resident. So it's a great benefit. And I would just encourage you to follow up with your vet rep or your county veteran service office to assess your rating if you're interested in applying for that benefit for your children. Next slide. So this is just a snapshot of our Veterans Resource Book, all of the educational benefits that I covered here, as well as a little bit more detail regarding the eligibility criteria, different plans for the fee waiver. So we always just want to encourage you to refer back to the Veterans Resource Book. I sent it out in our chat as a PDF, so hopefully you're able to download that as well. Next slide. And that is me. That's my contact information. My name is Derek Rose, training coordinator. Feel free to shoot me an email if you have any more questions that I didn't cover or anything CalVet, CalTAP, veterans benefits related. I'd be happy to answer those questions. And I believe that's it. So Jana, I will turn it back over to you. Thanks for your time.
Great. Thanks so much, Derek. That was really great information. And like he said, a lot of this information online in your handy dandy, you can't really see it, in handy dandy Veterans Resource Book, or call us. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Zeffirino. He works at the Veteran Readiness and Employment, or VR&E, which was formerly known as Vocational Rehab. So I will go ahead and turn things over to him whenever he's ready. He's got a lot of great information for you guys. Let's see, Zeffirino, are you there?
I'm here.
Yay, there you are.
There we go. So thank you for the introduction. Yes, I am Zeffirino Murillo with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. First of all, I want to thank the CalVet team. They've done a wonderful job putting these events together, and we've attended a few of these and others more coming up. So thank you all for inviting us and allowing us to present our information. So to jump right in, we are going to talk about the individualized plan to employment. Next slide, please. I was trying to change it and I forgot that you were in control. So anyways, the VR&E program's intent is basically to provide veterans and service members an opportunity to succeed by providing the services they need as they transition into the community and to civilian life, as they transition into work life, on campus, and of course at home. All these services are specifically related to each category. So we do work with veterans to ensure that the service that they're needing and deserve are provided. Next slide, please. So the eligibility to apply for the benefits, for the VR&E benefits, veterans must have an honorable discharge or other than a dishonorable discharge, and they must have a service-connected disability rating of 10% or a memorandum rating of 20% or more. You know, as long as they have that, they're eligible to apply. Active duty service members can expect to receive an honorable discharge or other than dishonorable discharge as needed. Obtain a VA memorandum rating of 20% or more, or be enrolled in the Integrated Disability Evaluation System, the IDES program. Next slide, please. So VR&E basics. Well, as was mentioned a couple of times during the different presentations, you know, VR&E does provide assistance to veterans that are seeking employment. So the E in VR&E is employment and not education. So that's the focus, folks. We provide a maximum of 48 months of entitlement. The time limit to request or apply for VR&E services has a 12-year expiration date. The 12-year expiration date, however, begins at one of the latter of the two listed below. So either from the date of separation from military duty or the date that the veteran received notification from the Department of Veterans Affairs of a service-connected disability rating. So the latter of the two is when the time begins to count. The basic period of eligibility for voc rehab could be extended if a vocational rehabilitation counselor determines that the veteran does have a serious employment handicap. Next slide, please.
I can help you find a place if you turn on locations.
That was weird. So we have 6 different phases. Actually, there are 3 different phases that we go through. The first phase is obviously the application process, invitation to orientation. Determination of eligibility is also assessed. The voc rehab counselor meets with the veteran and again conducts the orientation, which is basically a PowerPoint similar to this, a little bit lengthier. I cut it down to basically for time restraints. But the first phase, again, is obviously the entitlement process, identifying if the veteran is entitled to the benefits. If it's determined that the veteran is entitled, we go to the next phase. And the next phase is evaluation and planning. And again, you do the exploration, identify feasibility, make sure that the job or the targeted goal is consistent with your disabilities or does not cause your disabilities to worsen or does not impact it in a negative way. So in order to do the plan of, obviously we have to select a track, and we have 5 different tracks, and we have reemployment, rapid access to employment, self-employment, employment through long-term services, and the last one is independent living. And we'll discuss this in more detail in a little bit. But after the plan selection and the veteran goes through the program, eventually they get to a point where employment is the next phase. So the last phase of the program is obviously job search, job development, resume creation. I host weekly job club here actually it's virtual. We also do employer spotlights. So we bring employers in, we allow them to present information as to their vocational needs or hiring needs, and that's part of the employment process. Once the veteran has been secured employment, it has been established in that employer facility for over 60 days, then we can go ahead and pursue the case closure. That's generally only done if the veteran is stable in that job. If the job is not stable, if there's some concerns, if the demands are too physical or too not consistent with the veteran's limitations, then we keep the case open. Sometimes we may need to look for other alternatives, but 9 times out of 10, once the veteran is stable, we go ahead and close the case. Next slide, please. So to talk a little bit about the reemployment track, basically the reemployment track is designed for veterans who are separating from basically active duty and National Guard Reserve. We provide the services necessary for the individual to return to work. These services may include consultation with your previous employer prior to being prior to entering into that active duty. We communicate with the employer. We identify any accommodations that might be needed. We coordinate with VHA, Veteran Health Administration, in case other additional services are needed as well. Reemployment rights and advice are discussed with both the veteran and the employer. And of course, with some case management activities. Next slide, please. So the Rapid Access to Employment track is designed for individuals who've expressed interest in just going back to work. They have the necessary skills and to be competitive in the labor market and to identify work in a suitable occupation. So these particular, or some of the services that are provided under this particular track include short-term training, subsistence allowance, individualized employment services, job readiness, resume preparation, interview skills, all the services that are necessary to get you job ready and move to the next phase, which includes referrals to Department of Labor, the DVOPs, the LEVers, and other employment follow-up activities as well. Next slide. So for employment through long-term services, folks, this is one of the tracks that we use the most, okay? And the reason being is that generally when veterans get out of the military or service members leave the military, they, with a disability, they generally cannot perform the functions that they were doing while they were in service. For example, if you were an airplane mechanic and you can't do that physical work anymore, 9 times out of 10, we're gonna do a formal training plan, okay? So part of the formal training plan could be apprenticeship programs, internships, on-the-job training, non-paid work experience, which is an internal tool that we use for helping veterans get back to work, college, vocational, or technical training, which is, I would say that 80% of the cases go through that. Purchase of required tuition, fees, books, supplies. We cover everything, folks. If you happen to come into our program, and obviously you will need a computer to go into school. We will buy you that computer, okay? We'll buy you the laptop. We'll buy the any other tools that are needed to get you through the program. Again, the subsistence allowance, personalized case management and support, individualized employment services, as we mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. So the self-employment track, very interesting. We hardly ever use this track, primarily, and I'll tell you why, primarily because you gain more benefit out of the previous track, okay? And this is the service that we provide under this track. The self-employment track is generally for veterans who identify limitations will not, I guess, mesh well with employment settings. We can't find a good accommodating work setting that you could fall into. So we provide the self-employment track. The fallacy about the self-employment track is that folks think that you can only work part-time 2 or 3 hours a day and then you can call it a day. Reality is that once you get into self-employment, folks, the job requires a greater demand in most cases than it does if you just had a regular job. The services provided under this track, however, include referral to resources and other guidance that will help you develop a business plan, analysis of business concept, training in small business operations, marketing, and finance. And this is basically where the biggest expenses for us is the training. That's why I always say, if you're going to have training anyways, and you're going to benefit more if you have a bachelor's degree, going into self-employment later on your own, get a bachelor's degree. Now, my boss probably won't appreciate that too much, but really, the reality is this is your benefit, folks. So take full advantage of it if you can. Next slide, please. So for the independent living track, this track is generally leveraged when it is determined that a veteran service member is unable to pursue employment. So if in that situation, what we do is we try to provide services to permit or allow independent living, which may include acquiring assistive technology. It may include independent living skills training, community-based support services, gaining an increase or increasing your community access. Perhaps volunteering positions might be a suitable alternative for you, so we help you with that as well. Home adaptation to improve independence. For example, if the veteran is in a wheelchair or uses a wheelchair for mobility, then we can discuss perhaps creating or building a ramp. And we generally coordinate that with our resources, EHA and other service providers. Next slide, please. So the VR&E benefit, as was mentioned earlier, no, the VR&E benefit is not the same as the GI Bill. The GI Bill is an education benefit. The VR&E benefit is an employment benefit. The purpose of the VR&E program is to assist service members and veterans in their quest to employment. Okay, we obviously have to be a suitable job, and it has to be the things that we need to take into consideration are the limitations and the abilities that you bring to the table. 4 of the 5 VR&E tracks of service are geared specifically towards employment, as mentioned. The E in VR&E, again, stands for our mission, employment. Next slide, please. So VR&E focus. Other employment service may include referrals, as mentioned earlier, to our partners, Calvet, EDD. We have other resources that we provide services to, but one of the ways that folks connect to employers and employers with veterans is through the e-benefits program. If you don't have an e-benefits account yet, folks, I highly recommend that you create one. Again, as part of the referral process, the DVUPs are one of our greatest partners, and they provide literally face-to-face, individualized, one-on-one employment services. I'm not sure how they're doing it right now. I believe they're still doing it via virtual environment, but they do work very closely with veterans. Next slide, please. So how to apply for the VR&E benefits. Basically, your e-benefits account, you can go to e-benefits and complete the VA form 1900. It is highly, highly recommended and encouraged that you apply for the benefits using the electronic system. Alternatively, you can use the snail mail process. Again, VA form 1900. You can always drop it off at your nearest VA regional office. The nearest one here is Oakland, and the second one is Los Angeles and San Diego. Again, because of what's going on with all the offices being closed down, I'm encouraging and I'm really pushing for the benefits process. If you mail us the form, it will take a while. It will take probably 3 weeks longer to respond to you. So keep that in mind. And I believe this concludes my presentation. There's my contact information, and there it is again, folks. If you need to send me an email, have any questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. More than happy to answer any questions and guide you through the process.
All right. Thank you so much, Zeferino. I really appreciate that. That was a lot of really great information. And we'll have his information up on the contact slide as well. So at this time, we're going to go into the questions and answer panel. So I do want to remind you guys to, at the beginning of this webinar, there was an email sent to you about attached a SurveyMonkey link. We're able to send that in the chat as well. But if you guys could fill out the survey for us, that's going to make these webinars much better for everyone else in the future. So please let us know what we can do. So this is all the information for everybody that presented today, and also some email addresses if you guys want to contact your schools directly as well. We're going to go ahead and I've got Derek on to see about the questions.
Hi, thanks, Jenna. And yeah, it does look like we had a few questions come through. I was able to answer some of those on the spot, but I think 1 or 2 should be addressed for the group. One specifically just came in for Zeferino regarding VR&E, and I'd like to just copy this question. And Zeferino, I'm going to paste it to you right now. So I wanted to see if you're able to address that. This question is coming from Samantha. Zeferino, are you still with us, or did he jump off?
Oh, no, it looks like he just took me off.
Let me read the question, thanks.
Sure.
Perfect.
I guess you need time to read the question. Apologize.
So while Zeferino is reading that question, I want to let everybody know, just jump to this slide. Like I said, that we're recording this webinar. We'll be able to post it on our website. And I showed you guys where to find that earlier. If you have questions where to find that again, please reach out to us. We can tell you. But this is kind of a snapshot of some of the next webinars that are going to be coming up in the future. I'll bring this slide back on when we're doing some other questions, but just wanted to throw that out there. Looks like Zeferino is ready. So whenever you're ready to read that out loud and address that, Zeferino, go ahead.
The short answer is yes, yes, and yes. But absolutely, one of the things that we've been experiencing, obviously, sounds like you.
Hey, Zeferino, do you think you could maybe read the question? Just so that way everybody, I'm sure probably someone has this question too. So that way everybody knows it.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
It's okay.
So the question is, if an individual gets employed using the services, but loses that job due to uncontrolled circumstances, i.e. the COVID-19, does VR&E assist with finding employment again, or does someone need to reapply? Also, does VR&E assist with employment across state lines? Like if somebody is willing to relocate. So yeah, we will assist you with reemployment. And and that's a great question, by the way. Anyone that goes through the voc rehab program, folks, has job placement services after they finish their training, has the ability to request job placement services the rest of their life. Okay, so the employment component is there at any time the veteran needs it. As a matter of fact, we've even opened it up to if you're not participating in VR&E and just need assistance, join my job club, folks. It's okay. We do provide that assistance. We also provide, what I do is I generate a weekly jobs and resources newsletter that covers jobs from here all the way to DC. Okay, so if you want to work in DC, you want to work in Kansas, you want to work in Texas, we can generate those job leads for you. Additionally, I guess the third component would be if in fact you're in the voc rehab program and you happen to have a need to relocate during that program, you can ask your case to be transferred to another regional office or agency in that state. Okay, so we do have 56 regional offices throughout, and I believe, if my mind doesn't fail me, about 120 satellite offices throughout the U.S. And this includes Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines.
Nice. Thank you so much for answering that, Zeffirino. And I can't remember who had asked that question originally, but if your question was not answered, please go back in the chat and let us know if you need more information. But hopefully your question was answered. Any other questions, Derek?
Yeah, a couple more. One of the questions was regarding work study. Is there work study now or still going on with COVID? I personally don't have the answer to that question and how operations are being ran, but maybe somebody can chime in and discuss that. It looks like Ashley has an answer.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ashley.
So there are still work study sites that are looking for students. I know that the Fresno VA is still looking for student workers, and my college in particular, we have student workers who are still working now. This is specific to my school, but I know that like our county libraries have a VRC inside them, and they've been looking for student workers. So it just depends on the different agencies and how they're working, but student workers are able to do remote work.
If I may also interject, yes, the Department of Veterans Affairs Health Administration in Fresno does have the work study, and I know that Mary Golden is often reaching out, looking for veterans to come in and apply for the for those positions. Again, it's minimum wage, but it's better than working the sharp stick.
And that extends also to the community-based outpatient clinics.
Perfect. Well, I hope that was a good answer for you, Annette. So thanks for answering that. Another question that came through said this is from Samantha. It said, it was mentioned that budgeting and finance management is important to consider while going to school. Are there resources / guidance for financial management post-military available through CalTAP? I don't believe we have done a specific financial literacy webinar, but we do have our financial literacy pathway on our CalTAP website. So I believe if you go to our core curriculum pathway, which is our first and kind of most important pathway, you will be able to follow along in detail some financial literacy resources and guidance to kind of help maybe narrow down just some resources and just best practices for financial literacy. So I hope that helps and answers your question. And maybe sometime in the future, CalTAP can do something a little bit more specific, but we would just refer you to our website to kind of dig around a little bit more on that topic. Moving along here. Ryan, I think I answered your question, so feel free to chime in if not. Johnny asked if do we have any information on some good grants for veterans. I don't know how to answer that in specific detail. So just to answer your question, Calvet directly does not just have a direct grant program for veterans. Like I said, we do offer our educational benefits for dependents of disabled veterans. And then there's also your service connection benefits if you're eligible, but just a straight up grant program, not exactly. I would always encourage you though to look into your local resources, whether it's a nonprofit or a veterans resource center, to see what type of maybe community or local or county assistance programs there are for veterans, whether it's related to housing, employment, or anything like that. If it's not something we can provide, just make sure to always start local and go from there. Just reading through.
And thanks, Ashley. I see that you posted in there that AMVETS usually awards grants each year. So thanks for putting that in there in the feed for everybody. Hopefully everyone saw that.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Someone just has a question about a point of contact for work study in the Fresno area. I think it was mentioned before. Is there any information or maybe a phone number that we can provide just to get plugged in that area? If not, we can follow up with you if you wanted to put your contact information in our chat, and then we can follow up with you a little bit more specifically.
So it looks like to you that was the last of the questions.
How do students join the job club with Zeffirino?
Oh.
Job club. Yeah, Zeffirino, would you like to take that one? That's the question. How do students join the job club?
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll post it right now. That's a good
Perfect.
one.
Thank you. Looks like I do see a hand raised as well from Fernando.
Yeah. Hey, hello everybody. Hey, I was just looking at following along, and someone mentioned something about financial literacy. On the VA website, there is a financial literacy page, and it breaks it down into different categories, how to deal with budgeting your mortgage, life insurance, flood insurance, and it takes you to different websites throughout the government. But it's on the VA website. So, and I looked at most of these, and it looks like everything is free. So
Cool.
it's out there on the VA website. Just wanted to throw that out there.
That's another great thing to make note of. Any veteran services that you receive should be free. Please don't pay anybody to work through your claim or help you out or anything like that. Those should all be free to you for your service. So keep that in mind as well.
That's a great point of view. And yes, I know that a lot of veterans go out there and pay to have their resumes developed. You don't have to do that, folks. The job club, I cover all that during job club, so please attend that. I also posted, we had a employer spotlight today that I host also, and Somebody to Health Foundation. They have quite a few job openings. I only had like 2 veterans that met criteria for a couple of the jobs, but they have enough, and I don't mind sharing. So if you're in the San Benito area or would like to relocate to that area, they have dental assisting, medical assisting, administrative work, financial accounting, things of that nature. So I believe they also have a dietitian outreach type of job. So, you know, if any of that fits, by all means, let's fill it with a veteran.
Perfect. Thanks, Zeffirino. And you know, any questions that have come in for Zeffirino, I think the best thing, and he's already done that already, is he's put his contact information in there. And I think just for time purposes and everything like that, I think if you just wanted to talk to him and connect with him just a little bit more specifically about what you're looking for or what information he can provide, feel free to, sorry to speak on your behalf, Zeffirino, but feel free to connect with him at the contact information he provided.
Yeah, you know what, that's what this is all about, brother. It's sharing information and referring folks. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's it, Jenna.
Okay, well, I think that's it for the questions and answers. Again, I didn't mean to jump so much. Looks like Zeffirino did put his contact information in the chat again. Thank you for doing that. And then I'm sure, hopefully everybody had time to put down our contact information that was on this screen right here. Lastly, again, just if you wanted to take a look at some upcoming webinars, also this is going to be listed right on our website as well, so you can always check that out. And I wasn't sure if anybody else had any comments, but at this point, we're going to go ahead and end the webinar. We want to just thank you guys so much for sharing your afternoon with us. And if you have any questions or need further clarification, please don't hesitate to call us. Again, your handy dandy Veterans Resource Book has that 800 number right on there. Or it's the last page. Yay, Annette has hers too. Annette has hers up there, so does Derek. But yeah, if you guys need it, last page of the PDF that we sent you, or if you need another copy, give us a call. But other than that, have a great weekend or great rest of your week. Great weekend this weekend too, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks all.
Thanks.